So I think I've been over these stories before, but the last sort of place where I was sort of, fully employed, I had a 4-day work week and it was awesome. Never had a 4-day work week before, but it was awesome. I cannot stress like when I first started, and it was, I'd woken up that first Friday morning. I was like, don't know what I'm going to do today. But honestly, it was such a really, really good benefit that I got from that business, and it was amazing. And I loved working there. Really good working environment as well. Really good boss who was like really, really like pro sort of worker. Really looked after us really, really well. Couldn't sing his praises. Honestly, more than enough. But the other place that I worked prior to that, we actually used to work 8 while 4, and that was also really good as well because at that point I had to sort of commute to Doncaster, and being able to finish at 4 while trying to commute back during that that period before rush hour really sort of kicked in, or really really started, was really good because it would cut down the commute so much because the traffic just would not be there at that time. But that was sort of something that didn't we didn't really have as a right, but it was something uh, we were sort of as workers able to negotiate with our at the time boss. So it was really good to sort of see that, and we are now seeing Labour not as people are again. It's not a 4-day work week, but what they are more pushing is flexi time, and I think flexi time is also something that could be really good as well. So the whole idea of flexi time is you might have an 8-hour day, and you go, well, actually, I'm going to work 7 hours today and then 9 hours tomorrow to make up for that time, etc. And it sort of allows people to be sort of more flexible with the hours sort of they work. This is also something that a lot of people have discussed before. It's something, once again, pre-pandemic used to be quite a rare right bonus that people used to get at work. Councils in the UK, certainly in England, I'm not 100% sure about sort of Scotland or Wales or Northern Ireland. They brought this in prior to the pandemic. They've been using flexi time a lot since before this. So they've really gotten into sort of using flexi time. You're seeing this more being expanded. And of course, Labour are now bringing in flexi time where they say, well, actually, if you want to structure your hours, use your flexi time to have a 4-day week, then you should, as a worker, be able to request that of your of your workplace to be able to do that. Now, of course, as we said before, not every single workplace is going to be able to do that. But the fact that Labour are now sort of coming forward, giving sort of workers this right, this ability to be able to do that, I think is good. But you're seeing people certainly on today, Labour are introducing 4-day work week. Again, it's not a 4-day work week. It's flexi time, essentially, that they are really sort of going into with, if someone wanted to structure their hours to be able to do a 4-day work week, then they could. So we'll get more into this in a moment, but I think this is a really good step forward for workers. And I think it's something, once again, we should be talking about because there's something really good that Labour are doing. So before we do get on to this, please remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button down below. There are links to my Patreon page, the one of donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can all buy me coffee, the YouTube thank you button, and of course, as always, there is the Pony Club down below as well. And of course, you can click on the like, share, and of course, you can hit the subscribe if you are new, or leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think about this. Are you going to take advantage of this new Flexi Time revolution, or do you already have Flexi Time? Like I say, lots of people do take advantage of it. Lots of people have it and don't realize they've got flexi time and don't actually use it. Well worth reading your contract about some of what it actually says about some of this stuff. So let's go on into this. So this comes to the Guardian of workers in the UK could get the right to request a 4-day compressed work week. So workers in the UK could be given the right to request a 4-day working week under the new government plans, which would still need but they would still need to clock in their usual contracted hours. Education Minister Jackie Smith on Friday dismissed the reports that businesses were being forced to accept these demands, but said that workers could be given the option to work few days through compressed hours. And like I say, this is the big thing you're seeing in the paper, that 4-day work week being forced on people. It's not. It's not a 4-day work week. This is really flexi time that if a worker wanted to, could then have a 4-day work week, but they'd still have to work their, contracted hours. So it is not a 4-day work week. It is more sort of the expansion and giving workers the right to have almost flexi time written into contracts that they have, and I think that is a good thing. Well, anyway, she said on LBC, we think that flexible working is actually rather good for productivity. So the 4-day work week that I know is now on the front of quite a lot of newspapers today. What we're actually talking about, though, is this is a type of flexible working that enables you to use compressed hours. So perhaps instead of working 8 hours a day for 5 days, you work 10 hours a day for 4 days. So you're going to do the same amount of work, but perhaps you're going to do it in a way that enables you, for example, to need less childcare, to spend more time with your family, to do other things that encourages more people into and out the workplace, which is an enormous part of that growth mission. And that is something, again, I'm really highlighting she's bringing up, because it is about encouraging more people into the workplace. There are a lot of people who are economically inactive for various reasons, be they OAPs, etc. There's a lot of various reasons, but I think using flexi time, being able to sort of use flexible working, I think is a good way to get people back into sort of workplace. I think that is a really good benefit that they should indeed have. And also, I see here, right there, here, UK's largest public sector trial of a 4-day work week sees huge benefits, research finds. Again, like I say, we should be looking into a 4-day work week as well, but bear in mind, because a lot of people, especially the right-wing press, etc., saying, oh, this is a 4-day work week. It's not. It's really more of an expansion of flexi time, really. So back to this. When asked about jobs such as teachers who may not be able to do a 4-day work week using compressed hours, Smith said, well, no, and no, nor can lots of other people. But that doesn't mean that those people who can't do it, who can do it, shouldn't have the ability to do it. And that is, I think, the message here. You might be a teacher, so you might not be able to use flexi time, but why should that stop other people who maybe are office workers from have the ability to use flexi time, or maybe they work in IT or another service industry? I think, once again, flexi time should be given almost automatically as a right, and should be something that should be, I think, encouraged for businesses to have. And I think if a worker requests flexi time, they should be able to make that request, and a business should have to consider it seriously. Which is, again, about giving workers this right, this ability to be able to do it. So the Department for Business and Trade spokesperson also denied that Labour would impose these working patterns on businesses. They said, we have no plans to impose a 4-day working week on employers or employees. Any changes to employment legislation will be consulted on, working in partnership with businesses. So once again, it isn't a 4-day working week. Lots of people misunderstanding this. On that, our Make Work pay plan is designed around increasing productivity and creating the right conditions for businesses to support sustained economic growth. Many employers already provide good family-friendly conditions for their workers because they know that doing so improves morale and retention. We are working now with close partnership with businesses and civil society to find out what the right balance is between improving workers' rights while also supporting the brilliant businesses that pay people's wages. The Department for Business and Trade said it will also set out further details with its approach within 100 days. Joe Ryle, the director of the 4-week campaign, welcomed the proposals as a step toward reducing the UK's overall working hours. He said, this is a very welcome move from the government, which recognises that the future of work that we are all heading for is a 4-day week for all. However, these proposals would only allow workers to compress their working hours rather than reduce them, which we have found is now key for improving work-life balances and also maintaining productivity. Compressing the same amount of time of hours into a 4-day work week rather than 5 can be an important first step on the road to a true 4-day week, but reducing overall hours and working hours is now critical. So, again, I agree. I think this is an important step forward to achieving that. Uh, like I say, this isn't a 4-day work week, it's flexi time. And there's a big difference between a 4-day week and flexi time. However, you could use your flexi time to have a 4-day week, but remember, you'd be compressing your hours that, to do that. So you'd be working, 10 days to, well, not 10 days, but, 10 hours. Uh, so then you could have that, Friday off. Maybe you could use your flexi time to, I don't know, do an hour, an extra day. So maybe on Fridays, you get to, I don't know, end your working day at like 12. So maybe you every Friday, because you work those extra hours, maybe you then on Fridays end at 12 o'clock, and that becomes your working pattern, because that's what you've done with your boss. That's what you've done. It's what prays best for you. Again, it's flexi time that is being talked about, not, of course, a 4-day work week. But hey, as the guy said from the 4-day work week campaign, it is an important step to go there, to be able to do that, to give those workers rights. But of course, it is about reducing the time that people work, because we've seen this before. When they do these trials, you give people 4-day work weeks, guess what, they still work the same. It actually improves their productivity, and they are sort of are much better for it. Like I say, we are getting there slowly but surely. um, give it time. Maybe in 5-10 years we'll start to see this more roll out, these four-day work weeks, because especially even after the pandemic, there are a lot of businesses that did look very, very seriously at doing a 4-day work week. We've seen now working from home become a lot more accepted, where previously to the pandemic, you were lucky maybe to work one day a week from home. We've even seen businesses just fully adopt working from home. It's just, oh, you want to work from home? Yeah, sure. So, uh, we'll see. But it is really important to notice that working patterns, people, how they view work and how they want to work, is becoming a really important factor for when people are looking for jobs, when they're going for jobs. We're especially noting that a lot more as like Gen Z and sort of millennials have entered the workforce, that becomes really important to them as well. So, things are changing very slowly but surely, and it is good to see the government enact legislation to help enable that change as well. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.